गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय, महायोगी स्वामी उमानंद सरस्वती की जय। Today I shall just tell one more short story of Adi Shankaracharya, and then we will proceed to the next saint, Sri RAMKRISHNA Paramahansa. Yes, about Adi Shankaracharya, I need to tell another little short story. The rest of it I leave it to you. Please read his works, and I told you, try and read it within a saptaha period, a 7-day program, and you will see that gradually these things will add and heighten your spiritual realms. All right. Now the story goes that the Guru had asked Adi Shankaracharya to try and study Brahma Sutra and promote it. Brahma Sutra is another one of the powerful texts of Hindu philosophy, and they were supposed to be studied by Adi Shankaracharya and supposed to be promoted by him to the world of seekers. Now, he was hardly a boy of 14 to 15, and now as the days passed by, he was coming close to the his lifespan, which was supposed to be only 16 years of age. And he started probably realizing it, and therefore his reactions or involvement in his day-to-day life had started reducing. Some of his devotees were a little anxious about it, and they said, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you just tell us a little about Brahma Sutra? Because while relating, you tend to know more and more. So he said, why don't you do so? Because we will not have any master then to tell us later. So since they were all aware that Adi Shankaracharya was blessed with a period of 16 years alone. And of course, Adi Shankaracharya started talking about Brahma Sutra. That might be another very interesting subject for all of you to take up and study in case you wish to. Now, when he started talking about Brahma Sutra, people from nearby villages started coming, gathering, sitting around him and listening to his discourses. He was a great, powerful orator, a wise, enlightened soul. He was Lord Shankara himself. So obviously, everything of his would have been something magnificent and divine. So as he continued to speak, people started coming, and slowly the crowd gathered larger and larger. Amongst all of these, there was one Brahmin who would come, slim and tall gentleman. He would come and attend this little boy's lectures, discourses. And in the crowd, he would come up later with one or two questions about Brahma Sutra and ask Adi Shankaracharya. Like normally after every discourse, there is a feedback. So people tend to ask questions and the orator tries to answer them. So same thing was being followed there, and this Brahmin who would come, it was a tall, slim, fair person, he would talk and ask a couple of questions to Adi Shankaracharya. Almost when the end of the program came and Brahma Sutra were totally discussed, the program concluded very beautifully and systematically, and it was now time for the audience to take leave. So Adi Shankaracharya approached this Brahmin and he said, sir, only those who are well versed with the text could have asked me the questions that you asked. So should I say that you are Sri Vyas himself? Now, Sri Vyas was the original writer of Brahma Sutra, sage Vyas. So when Adi Shankaracharya asked the Brahmin, and the Brahmin unhesitatingly appeared in his own old form of Sri Vyas. So it was Sri Vyas who had, Vyas himself had attended the entire program to hear what the lad is going to talk about his works, which was of course very important. And when Sri Vyas manifested in his true form, Adi Shankaracharya fell at his feet. It was here, he was a boy of 14, 16. And Adi Shankaracharya was Sri Vyas was a great sage. And when he fell at his feet and he says, now my tenure of 16 years is almost to an end, and now that you are right in front of me, please allow me to give up my body before you. So Sri Vyas said, no, you are not going to do that, because there will be no other orator as great as you to promote my Brahma Sutra. So I command you to live for another 16 more years and promote Brahma Sutra. See friends, these are stories which give you the depth of abilities of the saints, the depth of achievements, and the kind of services required by God, and the kind of fruits which the devotees can attain. Adi Shankaracharya's life is a grand life. It's a grand life. If you can read it, please read it. You never know. It doesn't have to be pertaining to any religion. You read it as one of the heroes of the world and see what you best can learn from it. Now, there is a similar situation which happened in my case. One day a gentleman from New York approached me, and he came to meet me in Pune, and he said he had read my works, Jnaneshwari, once again. Friends, it is on Kindle. If you wish to pick it up, please do, and let me know how you find it. This gentleman who came from New York had taken this book and had read it. And he said, I went there to Alandi, that is the place where Sant Gnandev's temple is erected. And he went there and he said, I found that there were no gods there. Now, of course, when he said that to me, my heart sank, because it's not true. It's not true. It is a place of faith for millions and millions of people. And I couldn't let this young man from New York leave with such a belief. So I said, please allow me to help you to locate the gods there. So he said, how do I do so? So I told him, I want you to take my book again and try and finish it in 3 days. Of course, it's a voluminous work, so I had just selected one chapter for him. That is chapter 6. It talks about the Kundalini Yoga, which Jnandev had excelled in and was a promoter of it. So I said, you read that chapter in 3 days. Like the 7-day program, I told him, keep it a 3-day program and read those couplets. Try to understand them. There were about 500 couplets. So I said, you try to read them and read it the first day, second day, third day. The first day, try and offer some little jaggery and little water to the gods. Sit there under the tree, which is a holy tree there with the golden leaves and all. It's a beautiful place, a beautiful ambience there, a spiritual ambience. And I said, then read it. And on third day, after completing, you need to offer something, some little amount of money to the temple. It could be $1, $2, or whatever is within your limits. And I said, that will complete the reading part of it, and then maybe you will see someone and experience something great. So the man went back. He was from New York, but he went back to Alandi, and he did as I was told to him. And after 3 days, he returned to me. And the number of questions he asked on that one chapter was unbelievable. He kept on asking me a couple of questions, one after the other, one after the other. And by the grace of Jnandev, I was able to answer all of them. And then suddenly this thought came to me. Was it Jnandev who came to test me of my knowledge? Yes, friends, these are romantic moments of spiritualism. These are intoxicating moments of spiritualism. The moment you feel it could be the saint himself in disguise, or it could be God himself incarnated before you in the form of a common mortal man, then the joy which grips you is indescribable. It is indescribable. Now we shall proceed to introducing Ramakrishna Paramahansa. I may not be able to tell you much stories, keeping in mind the time factor. But Ramakrishna Paramahansa is another of one of my most favorite saints. And he is from Calcutta, a Bengali, and from Calcutta. And he is also a guru of Swami Vivekananda. I yet need to go to Calcutta, and I yet need to go and see his goddess Kali. But there was something, when I read about Ramakrishna Paramahansa, I was to always be tempted to pray to goddess Kali and sit in meditative form for hours together. Now, a couple of stories about him will give you an idea how spiritualism works in your life. Now, there used to be great scholars who used to come to Ramakrishna Paramahansa. People would come to know, what has this mad ascetic madman? He used to look a very simple man. He was mistaken for a gardener. A very simple man. And he would be sitting either putting roses in its pot or whatever it is, and doing little gardening, things like that. So very few knew the capacity in him. However, he was a pure divine soul. So sometimes the scholars used to come, and to test him, they would ask him various questions. Whenever the scholars came, Ramakrishna would try and go and hide behind the goddess Kali. He would practically hide behind the goddess Kali, and he would tell her, shoo them away because I know nothing that they want me to talk about. So you better take care of me. I'm your devotee. And of course it is so said that those people would come and they would try to question him or look at him, try to find him. And then when they would look at the goddess Kali, she would be with her eyes glaring at them, frightening them away. And very soon the Vedic scholars used to retreat and go back. And then Ramakrishna would come out and say, see, good you sent them away. Because I don't want to argue about these things. I just want to know you, O goddess. Now these are some of the situations. You might meet many saints. Each one will be having a different... You will meet many saints. Each saint will have his own limitations, his own qualities and his own style. But if you know how to interact with them, you will get the best out of them. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa had once been visited by Vivekananda. I will tell a short story and stop here. He was visited by Vivekananda, and Vivekananda was the earning member of the family, his own family. So when he came, and he had no job, so he came to Ramakrishna Paramahansa and he said, sir, I want you to bless me that I get a job. So he says, oh, you want me to bless you for getting a job? Why don't you do one thing? Go into the temple and ask the goddess whatever you want. She will immediately sanction you whatever you need. Vivekananda went into the temple, stood before Ma Kali and folded his hands, and with a beautiful salutation, he was wanting to say that, all right, oh mother, I don't have a job, please give it to me. But unfortunately for him, he just forgot to say it. He just forgot to ask for a job. And he came out again. So Ramakrishna looked at him and says, "Did you ask for the job? Did she sanction it to you?" So he looked at Ramakrishna and then he realized why he had come. So he said, "No sir, I forgot." So he said, "Why don't you do one thing? Go again. Go again." He went back again. And again he stood in front of the goddess Kali. And her grandeur was such, her aura was such, her ambience was such, her roop was such, form was such, that again Vivekananda forgot to ask for the job. And he came out. He came out saying that, again he said, "Oh my God, sir, I forgot to ask the job." Ramakrishna only said one thing. He says, "It shows that probably you are not cut for a job." Friends, these are the languages spoken by saints, heard by gods, spoken by gods, heard by saints. These are the derivations which are made by the saints from the experiences one has in the world. Know the saints if you want to be closest to understanding the ultimate supreme truth. I am Swami Radhikanand from Pune. Know more about Ramakrishna Paramhans. Meanwhile, you can read a little. Thank you so much.